Nti Hon Abronye bunu region bibi chairman ebusan ko kwa pai wadwa line efa National Cathedral ensensem no on say enu achie ana State Attorney General Dr. Dominic Akutinga Ayinde all the new findings are woye en eba abontana wo kire mu say sika bia aje say yetua ye ewo National Cathedral ensensem no bia no all the money were lawfully paid. Na just say Okudzeto Ablakwa any Malik Basintale abedi draw na eno Hon Abronye abe clàshes with them. Then some Abronye ege Canada enye fedi agro. Be mo nchiri mu achire wadwen ama me. E wo comment section. Ahi Penyah block media. Me so say need mo. Obe like his video no other about subscribe button. So na be click notification and connect latest updates. Na be chire wadwen ama me. E wo comment section. Best also about so watch boss anya bi ahwe. E denye nim hawa National Cathedral. Ye nuam NDC fui e de Akufo atem e wo Ghana hanom. Omu de di na tempa. Cathedral de omu de Akufo atem pay. It started from 2022. Ablakwa and started this whole conversation. Abra Eba said National Cathedral, not MP for Eka said it passed through Parliament. Ablakwa said once there be I didn't pass it through Parliament. It munya the wika kadokra. Emma 2023 obey this interview.
But you see, this project does not qualify in any way if you read the Public Financial Management Act as contingency. Contingency is something that is a happenstance. It's unpredictable. Has just come upon you, you know. And he himself, the examples he cited at the Vote of Censure Committee, talking about tournaments. And he says that when we were in power, we used the contingency vote for
the 2014
Black Star appearances. That is contingency because you don't know how well the team will perform. You don't know if the team will qualify to the next round. And they are winning bonuses. So it depends on if they will win or not.
I think those points,
so those qualify the contingency. So you have a situation where this government has squandered, as we speak, $58.1 million. That's the 339 at the time, the exchange rate at the time.
You're not using the current exchange rate. You're using the past exchange
at the time. At the time, these releases.
When specifically are you?
These releases were made. So between 2018 and 2021. Okay. So this is Ken Oforiate's own analysis that he presented to the Vote of Censure Committee. $58.1 million. Now, this figure, are you aware that this figure leaves out many other expenditure items?
Like
so this $58.1 million is even misleading. It doesn't give you the full picture. For example, the cost of replacing the demolished structures, this figure does not address that. So
the structures around
the structures that
were demolished.
Yes.
I know the scholarship secretariat.
Yes,
for example,
I can give you the full list.
Some judges' quarters.
Yes.
Had to
so
be
the judges' quarters, the Judicial Training Institute, the scholarship secretariat, the passport head office. Then you have bungalows for Shraj, Comsys IT firm. Their headquarters was demolished. Waterstone Realty apartment complex was also demolished. Then the Malian ambassador's residence. Yesterday, in her response to one of our follow-up questions, she said that she hasn't put out a figure on compensation because they are largely government buildings. Again, that is not accurate. As we speak, we have spent millions of Ghana cedis relocating these judges temporarily, and we are now building new structures for the judges.
Can't say we will be on Joy News. Now, any papa called by J. Cathedral and Assembly Jinemu, Malik Basintale. 2024 out of nowhere, and Malik Basintale everything at TV so with some document to be added or claims a payment receipt into the National Cathedral. And then our bubble figures business their dinner, your transfer carry your bank going away. Just now, oh, be a Malik, I go for that in free. But yeah, the I'm a top every year. No, I'm a Hamatana Kunyason. Investigation into the National Cathedral. I want to pop up say the books of the National Cathedral are all clean. But still, no one edits for moon too. I don't know once. And before the year jam, just omu edits ka would have FFRC and omu AABB. Now, I was also issue no na the State Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Akutinga Ayinde, I just or your NDC appointee, the State Attorney General, NDC now appointee no. Now or no, an a case in everyone in some. I just say, yes, any idea. Then see, and a go back say, National Cathedral no payment na ye make ya na Malik Basintale mo any Ablakwa mo kire say kululu bi so katashani pro bi so any ade the payment were made unlawfully any ade no state attorney general kire mo say all the payment made on the National Cathedral were all lawfully and they all passed through parliament. As that parliament, no, na Ablakwa eka parliament no hubi, but Ablakwa passed people went back. Come live to Ghanaians. I will tell you as a Ghana for no, yen seku for the kunkum went and kunkum abomu bonus so enkuno. Na eno, Hon Abronye Dc, abetiesi Malik Basintale, Ablakwa, any NDC for no what it why you finna.
Ebesin neno propaganda Basintale ye otimi ko fa pay slip ye fake and the kwatena G1 TV 2024 all because of power a trod your betma di anya power na mo makira asem integrity aso hia pa me amate se wonti apo be bosomi nie ba bia wo bia no onyankopon kan ho no nsa oyade the fact say we NDC ni na me ya pepini no wo yare e be ya me dedabi enyem de nti ba bia wo UK bia wo sa ho yade no ba bia wo UK bia wo sa ho yade no be ya bosomi nie no woni office sansa ho di ni wafa eye YECO Malik Basintale baya bosumi nie no ohumfaw nti wo yuka wo di ayaresa onyankopon kan ho no mo ho ban non saw yade na sambra fie beye wadwuma as the youngest chief executive officer na mom propaganda yetimi kofa pay slip at that time say editro egu asofo so ewo kroma all because we want power ye ditro BS say edie ni nyina no say ye power the lord for ababe audit books ni nyina afede nsema NDC for kan ye no kwan ban so no mo kan o masem afa say na ye ka kire Ghana for and they Ministry of Local Government and Religious Affairs. I say National Catheral no wombeye na yadia ebeboa oman Ghana into ombeto aso. Ehimfo a womudi na nado danko akofo ado atem. Eka se cathedral no ho hia no. Ebra Ahmed Ibrahim ebeka say National Cathedral mbeto aso no. Sanyemfo no mente sa o maba bonten abeka satia President Mahama any local government minister barakofo ado de sanyemfo no timba bonten bedidi na tem sa National Cathedral ho hia enei ye bisa sanyemfo no omudidi na nado atem say National Cathedral ho hia no ene NDC say ho hia nto mbeto aso ene de hia na enti sa ke kansa ansem ni nyina wie na so obi kasati awa en kantra obi sa oti akonwa so na obi akasati aw eye wo na ama wo na wa ma ho kwan na obi aye den kasati aw because enura otimi nya akukuduro sa wo yo hene kasa didi akofo ado atem obetima wo because of National Cathedral and now party buy no o party said na fe the National Cathedral project no a project papa because every course yeah no they are getting money from the cathedral every Sunday every week biasika omunya free a cathedral kese wo every course no enya asenkuma nti NDC fo ahun say ya de papa na omutimi wia ebeboa oman no ama oman no Kristo som so ayeden atumpon yenya yenuanom nkramofo ama omukura ba be supporto ama the national chief imam even made a donation to the cathedral say National Cathedral no musi ni de Ghana Christopher mo na na do ne MPP abai no musi na ya de papa NDC ye politics propaganda enya hemfo binum a mo fi so mo ye NDC fo e be didi akofo ado atem a obetima wo mo kasetia no and now mo party buy no party ni say project ne ye papa nti ombe continue sayemfo no ye nti nka akwakoda all because womo time MPP and Nadia National Cathedral NDC so mbeto aso no ehemfo na mo sore ya mo kasetia na nado dan kwa akofo ado and na mo akwakoda because we party so beto aso and no de won condemn Unka se mabunu nya adwuma nya ne yesi cathedral ene de unka ho asem propaganda na mo ye se nkrofo adisika ne ade ade o cathedral ne ho no ene na Ghana fo twen eno ni ho because I ukofa the Lord report na why na ukọ prosecute no if everything o mo ye procurement designing other payment was within the law and the financial regulations in the country. Why now uko prosecute no? It is our propaganda no atonsu. Now, and this nibi sorry ye at the assembly court. Nienti a week we no na cathedral hon semo by yesi attorney general say omakreke no forata na cathedral huni asembia no eye NDC ni lawyer bi ye freno Jonathan Amabo ono na di attorney general court na ensemble bre na obisa se Supreme Court no enye ho adwuma assembly ni say Ebra COVID-19 baye no na ni kwan se na nado aban kura yi sika se o de tonuane e de amankrofo o mu hefia lockdown no aka mo NDC ni lawyer e wo Supreme Court and asema all canon no se sika na nado aban ni MPP yi ye ebra lockdown no baye no enuane a o mu sika o mu yi di free Ghana fotuom editor nuane chama Ghana fo nyina no etia oman mra na ni kwante ka akofo ado yi Ghana sika editor nuane ediman krofo a ebra lockdown bae NDC ni lawyer ya agina Supreme Court eye Jonathan Amabo and Attorney General seat number J1/5/2024 of filing case no 2nd February 2024. Jonathan Amabo and Attorney General NDC ni. O say ebiem na ni kwan se COVID-19 baye no atichafo omutifie kura no over a year no na ni kwan se ka finance minister eyi sika free oman futuom editua sankrofo ne ka na sika finance minister kenoforata yiye ema ye de fight COVID no etia oman no financial regulation and the Supreme Court on declare say sika manado aban ni kenoforata de kuntia COVID emergency hospital say ye see ye e wo ga isi ha ebetimi ama yetima ye proper test yetima diagnose various kind of diseases ya or minor ebebam no emergency ye nyina no or the court to say sasika ne nyina ye de ye nose mask ahodo aban ne chiche ye sanitizer aban ne chiche ye nyina no or the court to say sasika ye yifro mine futuom e de yes ade ne nyina no ye illegal nti Supreme Court mongu na kanofurata ho mra asem near Otande can asem no the court Supreme Court to say. And no na cathedral na wasem beba. Maybe can atra manfo. And near mako. And near mako do mienu. And all bisa Supreme Court to say Supreme Court no enye mano. Ebina madi kanabo boss no. Nose mask ahodo aban ne chiche ye. Sanitizers ya chiche ye. Emergency hospital beds ya chiche ye. Any ade hospitals ya say ye be ye expansion. How are you fighting COVID-19? Emma World Health Organization be bo o mind Ghana baswo say we are seeing Ghana under His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo ne ba omia ban e na timako COVID-19 no ombo ya baswo no NDC ni lawyer ni Jonathan Amabro akoko to say sika ye de kun COVID ni nyina no court mongu because etia o mind mra Supreme Court mongu na kenofurata ho nyeden emrasem yate owie ya no de National Cathedral ne kan ho e kanema obisa no enti ni last asembisa etwato e wo nasema ode ko Supreme Court e 2nd February 2024 ne last asembisa e mienu a ode ko Supreme Court no na fa National Cathedral ho na ma redi e de akere amamfo me wia me de beto screen ne so e ma obi aso yede ehu some for relief J na or say a declaration that the financing of the construction of the National Cathedral from the consolidated fund as a contingency vote matter without the prior approval of the Speaker of Parliament and the chairperson of the Council of State was contrary to and contravenes Article 179 cross 11 of the 1992 Constitution. Nature say, ni ochra ne say, National Cathedral na ye tum say yesin. Next say Parliament. Na enya approval from the Speaker and the Chairman of the Council of State. Na anko Parliament ama anya approval from the Speaker ho nti etia oman Article 179 cross 11 of the 1992 Constitution. Relief K no or say a consequential order for the return of all monies which were unconstitutionally withdrawn from the consolidated fund to finance the construction of the National Cathedral. No. Or say, a consequential order for the return of all monies which were unconstitutionally withdrawn from the consolidated fund to finance the construction of the National Cathedral. And just a sikabia Yediwura National Cathedral no muno. NDC lawyer your friend Jonathan Amabro say ay unconstitutional. Enti wamun return sika ne nyina. Nyamencha de 2024 abano. MPP anwene. Ana party a propaganda enitra meka nyamencha de no. Party a propaganda no. Omo na aba. Nti womu na say womu koyi amansu ya eda Supreme Court ye no. Nti Attorney General tisisu CIE 2025 womu respondu to Jonathan Amabro versus Attorney General case no the Supreme Court to say sika bia ye dia wura National Cathedral bia no unconstitutional nti Supreme Court declare na sika ne nyina ansa ne mra government of Ghana ho Sikabia ye de fight COVID no ye unconstitutional and the Supreme Court declare na sika nsa na mra back. Na Attorney General ya otesu sisi ai Yewura Dominic anyine na so ye e de anu yie akwa NDC lawyer na owo Supreme Court to say ne edikan se onkoka say National Cathedral honsem any COVID-19 honsem anko parliament ya no boa na nanumre no I will concentrate on the National Cathedral na next week no the same document no my year COVID-19 no and the current Attorney General I respond to case in our Supreme Court no na nasema all can say Opanyina wako Supreme Court to say National Cathedral no anya parliamentary approval from the speaker hono enti sika bia awura mu bia yem return no the Attorney General office say panyini boa na nasema oka no enye nokore wo mo the evidence ni exhibit akesi akwa to Supreme Court to kire say former finance minister Honorable Kenofurata sought for a parliamentary approval of the National Cathedral construction or project. And nipa na sem no gina Supreme Court o ka say I National Cathedral na nya parliamentary approval no Attorney General yo wo so sisi ase no krobia nim na National Cathedral ho nsem no e fa parliament e ma nya parliamentary approval na yentie ne Attorney General eka page 16 of the Attorney General statement. Producer Fatosu page 16 of the Attorney General statement. For page 16 it also may read here free here. What financing of the construction of the National Cathedral. Page 16, Attorney General response. Regarding the relief J and K of the plaintiff's rate, with reference to the financing of the National Cathedral, the then Minister for Finance statement in his budget since 2018 sum up the situation. In the 2018 budget statement, the then minister stated, Mr. Speaker, the interdenominational National Cathedral that will be located in the heart of the capital stand to help unify the Christian community as a place of worship and promote the national conversation on the role of faith in building Ghana. With the participation of various churches in the administration of the cathedral, collective ownership of the project by the churches is envisioned. The board of trustees and the secretariat have been established, and preparatory works for the construction of the cathedral have begun. Procurement process to select a contractor are expected to conclude by the end of the year, and construction is expected to begin in March 2020. Nature say, BBBF Cathedral ne hono, Abrantie ne tra o di ni Supreme Court hono. The current Attorney General say, enye nokore da se Kenofurata amfa Cathedral honsem anko Parliament. Nti wababe expose Abrantie no di Supreme Court say, National Cathedral project ne unconstitutional. And the Supreme Court on share Neskabia ye dia uramu bia ne yensa ne mfamra no Attorney General New Year or the koye da ye file this document e was Supreme Court no e 2025 year 2025 e 9th July 2025 e no mo file this document enti anu year o mo dia kono no. It continues. The National Cathedral is 100% owned by the state. Indeed, the Attorney General issued an opinion on 6 November where Honorable Dominicani ne kasa yo na odi adanse say cathedral process ni nyina no efa parliament, meaning say Honorable Kenoforata follow due process so far that the cathedral project is concerned. Where Attorney General statement here, omo file wo Supreme Court 9th July 2025. Yentie. Or say in the paragraph 55, in the subsequent budget, the Minister for Finance updated Parliament on the status of the National Cathedral. In the year 2019, the Minister of Finance at Section 6 and at the concluding part of his budget statement stated as follows: meeting the spiritual needs of our people with the promotion of the Ghana National Cathedral. Paragraph 56. In the year 2020, on the issue of the National Cathedral in his budget statement, the Minister of Finance stated as follows. Paragraph 384 of the 2020 budget. Paragraph 384 of the 2020 budget. Mr. Speaker, the interdenominational National Cathedral that will be located in the heart of the capital stand to help unify the Christian community as a place of worship and promote the national conversation on the role of faith in building Ghana. With the participation of various churches in the administration of the cathedral, collective ownership of the project by the churches is envisioned. Where 2020, and the current Attorney General refer say, Hon Abronye no catch Supreme Court to say, Kenoforata amfa emra kwanso. Attorney General said that be. So wo kase Kenoforata necessary okwa Parliament kwaji approval under Article 179 there, and ye na Kenoforata yes or ye ne sa pepepe o di mraso. Attorney General ne kase Honorable Dominic Anyini. Then paragraph 57. Also in the year 2021, on the issue of the National Cathedral in his budget statement, the Minister of Finance stated as follows. National Cathedral of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, the National Cathedral of Ghana, which seeks to provide an interdenominational sacred space for the nation, remains a national priority. As the President argued in his first official announcement on 6 March 2017, introducing the project to the nation, the National Cathedral will address a missing link in the nation architecture by providing a sacred infrastructure in the for the nation. The cathedral's national character, as the President argued, will be defined by the nature of the event to be held there. Presidential inaugural services, national Thanksgiving services, state funerals, and a much needed credit for the nation. Mr. Speaker, despite delays caused by COVID-19 pandemic, work is on course to construct the iconic edifice in the heart of the nation capital, where 2021. Namuntie the concluding part, where dated 9th day of July 2025. Office of the Attorney General. Muntie paragraph 58. It can be concluded. It can be concluded for the above that the finances of the National Cathedral was approved by Parliament through the various budgets. In that regard, it is the defendant's submission that the consequential orders cannot stand. Producer for last paragraph on to so. Paragraph 20 and fatu so momo. I say it can be concluded for the above that the finances of the National Cathedral was approved by Parliament through the various budgets. Finito. Entino momba kwaswa ye mo propaganda.
Tira wa dwe ba me e wo comment section. I Penyah Block Media. Accra.